fifth principle of unity. We've talked about God is good. We are good. We are created beings. We pray and meditate in order to connect with that higher energy. And this fifth one, Reverend Karen Patrick is going to come and tell us all about it. So let's give Karen a hand as she comes. Thank you, Karen, for sharing with us today.
I told Leah that when the children come up, it's my favorite part. And she said, what, turning on the mic?
Well, I handed you the mic and told you how to turn it on, and then you said, this is my favorite part.
It's not the mic. I swear, it's a children.
There's always a backstory.
There's a backstory. Yes. Hi. Oh, it's so happy to be here. And, we've been doing the principles for a month now, so we should know them, right? So say them with me. The first principle, God is. God is. What's the second one?
I am.
Woo, y'all know it. And third?
I create.
Fourth?
I pray.
Yes, and I act.
I
Act. That's what we're going to do today. We're going to actually talk about taking all that wonderful knowledge that we know and using it. But here's the deal. We're always doing it. We always are creative beings. We're always putting into action what it is we believe. Okay, maybe we need to do that with a little bit more intention, right? When you look at the world around us, you go, wait a minute, who's driving? Well, okay, we are driving. So let's do it with intention. How do we do that? We get ourselves into alignment. How do we do that? With our prayer, with our meditation. So why? So we can shine. So we can have that little soul be a little shiny out there in the world. Jesus said, you are the light of the world. And he didn't say a whole lot about who and what we are. But he said, you're the light of the world. And that we're commissioned to take that light out, to act on what we know. So God is, I am, I create all the time, constantly doing that. So we live with intention. Have you ever wondered, sometimes you wake up or you think about it, it's like, well, I know I'm here. I know I'm living with intention, but is there something that I'm called to do? Is there something that I need to be doing that's unique for me? Have you ever had that feeling? Have you ever thought about that some? Yes, many nods. Well, so many times what we do is that we have that sense of like, oh, I really want to sign up for that art class. Oh, I really want to be more involved at Unity of Greenville. And then what happens? The family needs something. The dog needs something. We all have some reason. And we call these blocks. And then we spend a lot of time analyzing our blocks. And then we start really coming into a sense of self-worthlessness. It's like, there must be something wrong with me. I can't do anything. I'm just a procrastinator. And then the list goes on and on and on, right? Oh, yes, thank you. Got it. Yes. So here it is. There's this old Irish proverb that says, you will never plow a field by turning it over in your mind. That's it. Yeah, clap. You will never plow a field by turning it over and over in your mind. The rumination will not help. And then you think about it, we're ruminating and creating all this negativity, thank you, instead of really focusing in on what am I here to do. Yes, we are. That's what we do. So what it is, it takes a decision. The first decision is, I want to do something. And so we make that decision, and then we become clear about it. Have you ever tried to learn how to play an instrument? You say, I want to learn to play the piano. So then your life becomes about lessons, about doing the scales, about learning, and it takes effort. There's no doubt about it. It takes effort. And then after a while, you keep practicing and keep practicing, and then something happens. It becomes an expression. It's no longer hard. It's just a joy that comes out. And that's what we say. We learn our lessons by heart. What does by heart really mean? We learn those lessons. It becomes a part of us. We act on what we know, and we create with intention a world that we all want to live in. And that's what it happens. In my past life, I was a therapist. Does any of you all believe that, you may have had 2 or 3 lifetimes already in this lifetime? Oh, yeah, we got those. Before I was an ordained unit team minister, I was a psychotherapist in private practice for 35 years. And I would have people who would come to me feeling that sense of loss, sense of depression, maybe getting mad and getting angry and having some anxiety in there. And let me tell you a story. It's about a woman I'll call Megan. And she came in and she was doing just that. She came in, she said, I feel so depressed and I don't tell me to go do something else because my plate is full. I've got a full-time job. My boss is not fun. I've got children. I take care of my parents. And I don't even know how I had the time to come here to this session, but I have to do something. Don't tell me to change. Yeah, okay, I'll change for you. What you want me to do? No. So, but that's okay, because that's just how we talk to each other, right? That's just what we say. So she comes in, and pretty soon she starts telling me all the things that are wrong with her life. And I said, but Megan, what gives you pleasure? What makes you happy? And she said, well, my boss doesn't make me happy. And then she'd go on, all the things that were wrong in her life. We do that, don't we? We absolutely do that. We create this mindset. There's all these problems. So I finally, after a while, had that relationship with Megan that I could get a little bit there with her. And I said, Megan, let's talk about what you're creating. What gives you pleasure? Just answer that. And she couldn't. She knew what gave her family pleasure. She knew what gave her husband, her boss, her kids, but she didn't know for herself. Oh, Karen, I don't have time to take that art class. I know I need to finish my degree. I know I can't do all that. I said, let's look at it again. What gives you pleasure? It's like, what gives you joy? Not that situational stuff, but that deep down, tangled up into it joy. Yeah, what gives you joy? She didn't know, so I gave her an assignment. I want you to go out, and I want you to be aware of when you're in situations where you feel joy, just simple joy, not hard joy, simple joy. And so she came back and she said, something really strange happened. I went into the grocery store and I realized I always go to this one lady. This one lady, even if I have to stand in line a little bit more, I always go to her. She's got something. She's got that smile. She's got kindness. She never says any kind of words that would identify her with a religion. I don't know if she's Christian. I don't know what she is. But she's got that it factor. Well, in unity, we call that it, one power, one presence, right? It doesn't have anything to do with a religion. It has to do with the shiny of our soul. So she would go to this this grocery store clerk. And what she realized that even though this woman was a little bit older, she had the sweetest smile. And that is what gave her pleasure, is having. So when she told me that, I gave her a second assignment. Here's the assignment too. I want you to smile. I want you to be that woman. I want you to use her as your mentor. She is your role model in the world. She's her shining. You do not have to put any more hours in the clock to smile. You don't have to do anything else. You're not signing up for something. I want you to smile. And I want you to do it for 10 times a day and with awareness. And if you can't get 10, do 5 with awareness. And pretty soon she found that she was just kind of giggling back there when she would smile at somebody and they'd smile back. And she just had, it's just fun. So she was bringing herself up. Why? Because she was connected to her joy, her love. This is how we do it. Pretty soon she was, going off and realized that every time she went for break, she'd go for break, but she'd go get a coffee, and then she realized there was somebody in the back that she's never really talked to. She went back there and said, "Hey, can I get you a coffee? I'm going down." And she said, "Yeah." And so they started this little routine, and she felt she was helping. And from that action, she remembered that in her family of origin, they used to go volunteer at a soup kitchen during the holidays, and that she found so much joy in that. She wanted to continue that. So she was able, just through the actions of watching, a smile, giving a smile, helping. These are the things that we do. These are the things that we are able to do to live that truth that we know. In the Christian scriptures, there's this long list. It's called the gifts of the Spirit. Is it in Corinthians? Yeah, okay, got that right. So this gifts of the Spirit, and one of them is helping. I love my Baptist church. I grew up in a small Baptist church, and I loved it. I never missed a Sunday. I had all those little pins down there and all this stuff. And when we were told about the gifts of the Spirit, we were told that the gifts, that God gave you specific gifts. And, of course, my self-worth wasn't very high. So I would look at everyone else's gifts, and they were always so much better than mine. Whatever I had, I don't know, maybe healing. Who wants that? Preaching, I'm teaching. These are gifts. Nobody wants that, right? But that's what we do to ourselves. But you know what? In unity, God isn't dual. God doesn't give us something and doesn't give you something else. Oneness, one power, one presence. We have all the gifts. From our own inheritance. And it's just our entrance, our talents, what we're around that brings out those gifts. And we don't know how these gifts will serve us. We don't know. Once we start working with this sense of joy, the sense of love, the universe conspires to help us. The universe will support us in everything we do. One time long time ago, I applied for a job, and I was working in hospice, and I wanted to do grief counseling groups. And I thought I'd really like to do that, and so I had my resume, and by that time I had lots of initials behind my name and lots of certifications, and I was way overqualified to do a grief group. I walked in there, and there was there's a lot of applicants, and I went, oh my goodness, I don't even know if I want to do it anymore. So we talk ourselves out of it, don't we? So went into the interview, and I had my resume, and they were looking at it and all this stuff. And then, you know how you put on your resume interests? And I put on there gardening with native plants. And the man started looking at it, and he said, you know, my daughter just talked to me about native plants, and I don't know anything about it. Would you tell me about why you would use native plants in landscaping? Oh, my goodness. I love this stuff. I love this stuff. I've always been into landscaping. Who doesn't want to get a little dirty and sweaty? I mean, really? Yeah. Thank you. I am so happy you're here. Yes, we want to do that. My dad always had me out there mowing the grass and stuff like that. I even got a little job in college with landscaping, and, well, that's a whole nother story. But I was a lousy waitress is the bottom line. But anyway. I could mow grass. But anyway, this man wanted to hear about something I was so passionate about. My friend and I had already taken our condo, and we had 5 acres of shared property, and we put it all in nature, all in natural grasses and plants and flowers. And I went on, and I told him that, you know, birds and wildlife, they grow up with certain kinds of plants. And we bring in our hybrids, and they're pretty, and everybody loves our hybrids, and it adds diversity. But in some ways, maybe it's like feeding the birds Snickers and potato chips, you know. You got to get down there and give them something, right? So we were just talking about native plants. And you know what? I got the job. Yeah. I got that job because I was qualified. I got that job because I really wanted to do grief groups. I got the job because of love and joy and passion. And he knew he could talk with me, and he loved his daughter, and he could connect with her. See how that works? It's called the interconnection of all life, and we are it. Yes. Thank you. Thank you. So we go on and on and on. And you know what? Unity of Greenville has this amazing ecosystem now. We have this ecosystem of sacred service. And there's ways you can give to Unity of Greenville. You know, if you want to evolve, you've got to get involved. Evolve, you've got to get involved. You know, I love you coming here. I don't always get it here. I live in Asheville. In fact, I live in Fairview, and there's a lot of farms around me, and I love getting involved in that. But I love coming here. I feel happy, and that sense of joy, it's so pervasive. So why not? Why can't we continue to give and give? We grow our soul. We grow our shiny in the world through this giving. We talk about our time, our talents, and our treasures. Those are the ways that we usually talk about it in Unity. You know, and I like to talk about it in terms of generosity practice. After I left the Baptist church, I became Buddhist. Okay. There's another story. But in Buddhism, like most religions, talk about generosity practice. There's some kind of way that you're always giving. That generosity practice is what we're here to do. And it's a practice. It's like playing the piano. At first, it might not feel real comfortable, but after a while, it just becomes a natural expression, just a natural expression of who we are, is that we give our time, our talents, our treasures. So that is who we are. In this generosity practice, you know, I grew up with it. My mom, there was 5 people in our family. When she fixed dinner, she always fixed a 6th plate. There was always 6 plates that she fixed. I didn't even question it. I cooked many dinners, so we always had one more plate. while the kids were cleaning up and doing the dishes, she'd put that little plate together and run out and give it to one of the neighbors who was sick and needed some food and needed some help and needed somebody. I never questioned it. By the time that she got back, we'd had the dishes done and she's ready to help with the homework. It was just such a part of her. She just gave, and that's how I grew up. I saw that, and it was just so natural. So generosity practice is really, really important to me too. When my mother joined that Baptist church when she was 20 years old. She gave service every Sunday and gave money every Sunday. I don't know how much, but I know it was consistent. It was consistent giving. Later, my father joined. Oh, my goodness, he just took over. He did everything. They loved him. You know what? At 96, my mother had passed, and we did the funeral in her church. So she was the oldest and the youngest. For 76 years, she gave service to her church. At 93, my dad passed. I kind of forgot about Wednesday services. In fact, I didn't even think about the church. So I had his funeral viewing in the funeral home. They had to close the church because nobody went to Wednesday service. They all went over to the funeral home. A few years later, I was there, and I was living there part-time, and this was in Charleston, West Virginia, and I was asked to help sing in the Christmas cantata, and I went back in the church, and I was in seminary, and I was doing an internship there. So I expected to be introduced as, oh, this is Karen Patrick. She's in seminary, and she's going to be the next minister. And, oh, she's done all this stuff in her life. She used to go to this church. That's how I expected it. But that's not what happened. I walked in, and they took my hand, and it was so sweet. They said, this is Karen. This is Kate and Carl's daughter. And everyone knew them years after they had passed. It's your Kate. We miss them so much. This is John. My brother had passed. This is John's sister. John had worked in the church. We miss John. He's so sweet. You see, love endures. Love changes form. But love is lasting. Love does not die. Love endures. What kind of legacy do you want to live? What kind of legacy do you want to give to your church, to your family? Do you want them to not just your grandchildren, but to your grandchildren's grandchildren? How do we create a future? And we do that with giving, with love, with joy. We do that in simple service. If you believe, and I'm sure you do, or you wouldn't be sitting here. If you believe that God is everywhere present, your whole life is sacred service. There's nothing you can do that isn't for the glory and upliftment of being that light in the world. We say, glory to God. That's how that works. Yeah, this is how that works. So we want to give. We give because we love. Love is a harmonizing force. Love is good. So many times we separate out our ties. We have to separate out our money. Somehow we don't want to bring our money into spirituality. Well, Unity's pretty good about not doing that, but, I was kind of feeling, as I was preparing this, I was kind of feeling kind of uneasy, and I had to stop and I had to pray. I mean, what is it about asking people to give their money that I'm feeling uncomfortable about? And it's because we've hurt ourselves. We've done it. We've all done, well, at least me. What we're asking for here We don't want your rent money. We don't want your mortgage. We don't want your baby's diaper money. No, we don't want that. No, we're not here to hurt you. Maybe I'll tell you the time I gave my rent money away and expected God. I did. Don't do it. God did not fulfill that one. But what do you want to give? I love coming here, and I love coming in here when it's kind of cool outside, the heat's on, and the lights are on, the water works. Well, we all know that takes money. We all know that, you know, in the Hebrew scriptures, we say Abraham paid tithes to Melchizedek. Melchizedek, we are told, it was a Christ consciousness. Well, at least that's how I got it. Anyway, and how can we then turn within ourselves to the indwelling Christ within us and say, what is mine to give? How much money do I give? I'll tell you another quick story. A friend of mine had just seen Edwin Gaines. Does anybody here know Edwin? Oh, she's really big and bold, and it is a law. You must tithe. You must give 10% and down and down and down. Well, my friend said that, his husband, when they got out in the parking lot, said, we are not tithing. We have commingled money, and we are not tithing. Oh, okay. So, well, we do want to give something. So, pretty soon, he was ready to sit down with a checkbook, and how were they going to make the donation to the church? And he called his husband in and said, I really want you to sit down here with me and decide this. How much are we going to give? So they came up with a number, and my friend said, well, it's kind of lowballed, but I'll go with it. So, and then his husband got up, walked away, came back and said, you know what? That church has been nothing but good to you. Every single time you've ever gone there, you have grown, you've loved it, you've got it. I want you to add another 0 to that. So the guy says, he looked at it and said, should I tell him we just tithe? But that's what, God will conspire to help you. The universe will be everything to support us when we are in alignment. So I'm going to end here, but you know what? We have so much here. We have this whole ecosystem of sacred service volunteers. Isla and Phil are going to be talking to you. I think they're going to be in the back, available to talk to you about signing up for volunteers. If you can come and do something every week, fine. You're going to meet a whole lot of people who are here every week. But if you can just come 15 minutes and do one thing, do it. This is how we do it. This is how we give. Do what you can do at the time you can do it. Volunteer. We really need help. It's not just we need your help. We all need to pitch in. We all need to create this world the way we want it. We have classes. There's so many wonderful classes. Go online. See how many classes there are. We have an LUT. You know what a blessing that is? That is not easy. And she's doing classes on unity, so you can learn that. We've got yoga. I know I'm going to forget somebody. But you know what? It's there. Course in Miracles. Course in Miracles changed my life. It was wonderful. So we've got all that. And if you want to evolve, get involved. That's what we do. I'm the program director of Spirit Groups. Spirit Groups is a fun way to get together. Ed and Mary just had their first nature walk, and I got the pictures. It looked like it was a blast. So go online. We'll tell you about all the different groups we have. But do you have a group you would like to lead? Do you have something in your heart that you would like to do that you think, well, I don't know if I can really do it, but maybe? Talk to me. I'm going to help you. We're going to figure it out. We'll do that. We'll figure it out. So the landscaping committee, I understand that we have an expert in native plants with us. Yes. Landscaping. It's fun. Get dirty, get sweaty, have a good time. Everyone has something to give. Everyone has something to give, and we honor those gifts. We're here to accelerate our growth together. And my friend Phil sent me this passage, and I like to end with this. This is from Luke, the chapter of Luke. He says, it's one of the most metaphysical statements he's ever read. It goes like this. Do not judge, and you will not be judged. Do not condemn, and you will not be condemned. Forgive, and you will be forgiven. Give, and it will be given to you. A good measure pressed down, shaken together, running over, and it will be put in your lap. For the measure you give will be the measure you get back. Thank you.
Karen, beautiful today. So, there's a principle in life that if you want to be lifted up, there's something you have to do first. Do you know what that is? Stand. Different principle, still valid. Surrender. 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 How many know that you need to surrender to something? Right? And you might as well surrender to a higher power that has your best in mind, right? So we're going to turn down the lights. It's a little song we put together. Surrender all things unto the one. Surrender all things unto the one. And love will lift you up higher and higher, and love will lift you up. Let's sing it together. Surrender all things unto the one. Surrender all things unto the one. And love will lift you up higher and higher, and love will lift you up. Surrender all things unto the one. Surrender all things unto the one. And love will lift us up higher and higher, and love will lift us up so much higher and higher, and love will lift us up. We're going higher and higher, and love will lift us up.
And just close your eyes if you're comfortable. Find a way to just feel a way that you're supported in your chair. Just gather your energies at the top of your head. And just say, yes, I surrender to the one. The one is for me, for my highest good. And with those energies just at the top of your head, just feel that sense of letting go, releasing, allowing yourself to just be. And with a few deep breaths, allow that sacred energy to come down from the top of your head like nectar descending down to your throat. Where you take again that deep breath and feel the stillness coming as you get a little deeper into your chair, a little bit more deeper and deeper, and you let go, knowing that you are surrendering to the one who lifts you up, to the oneness that we all share, this consciousness called life. And with another couple of deep breaths, follow the exhale. There's a natural release in the exhale. A natural breathing in as you accept that life that is love and is the light. We take that next deep breath and we drop to our hearts. And we feel that our hearts open and receive more and more and more. The inhale and the exhale, the sacred breath. We begin to enter into the silence. And in the silence, we ask our heart, what is mine to do? How may I serve? We ask our heart, how may I serve? In the silence, there is a message for you. And bring that message out now to feeling all around you, surrounding with your heart. That heart that loves you, surrounds you, that heart is God. And that message is for you. Maybe you received an answer right now. Maybe your answer will come. But we are the light of the world. Thank you.
All right, let's take a breath.